Hello and welcome everybody back once again to the GT3 Summer Championship here at Kyalami. I'm Mike Nause. Joined with me in the booth tonight is none other than Carson. Kass. Carson, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mike. I am very excited to be here. Sunday night, best night of the week, and we all know why. We've got Sunday Night GT3 here at Kyalami, and I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute slosher of a race, quite literally. It's going to be wet in the qualifying. We'll see how it moves on into the race. Currently, it is going to be very important. The rain is going to be intensifying in qualifying. We'll be jumping into that very, very shortly. Do not worry. Currently, Quinn Smith leading the championship at the top. Took the win last time around, and we'll see if he can defend his title here. But it is going to be the great equalizer out on track here tonight. And currently, it looks like Ricardo Rivera looking to give him a run for his money. Couple other drivers joining us here in this race. And if you are interested in joining any races that we have here at TRACKILICIOUS, why don't we pop on over to the calendar really quickly and see what we have. We have the GT4 Rookies. That is going to be tomorrow. If you're looking to just maybe dip your toe in the water of sim racing, this is going to be the place to start. Whether you have a gamepad or a full-on direct drive wheel, this is going to be probably the best championship if you're just trying to maybe get into the league racing scene, find your footing, and get into a community that's all around welcoming and looking for members. GT4 Open is after that, and that's open to everybody, both rookies and professionals alike. We have our Street Stock Championship on iRacing, as well as Syntho Drive on Wednesday with our GT3 West Coast starting up on, well, just started up on the 19th, Imola being next round on the 26th. And we have our Superlight Formula Championship Thursdays at 8:30 Eastern Time, and the Road to the SRO Community World Challenge coming up at the end of this month, and that's going to be one race every month, 6 hours with a team. And the winners of that championship will move on to a qualifier to see if they can get into the SRO Community World Challenge. And of course, you are watching our GT3 championship that is on right now. As we have it, thank you everyone that is joining us. I see we have quite a few. We got Provolone, Dio Kabuki, Zane Blisket, Karu, I think Mason as well, Devin Anthony, and Potts Weaver. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Carson, why don't we get on down here to the session?
Sounds good, Mike. And as we wait for the bike screen of anticipation, we'll jump on board with Ricardo Rivera. Was the man to beat in Wednesday, rather. And I don't believe he was here last round, but he's got quite the path paved out ahead of him. As you can see, that it is very, very wet out. A lot of wet racing today. Watkins Glen, the 6-hour Watkins Glen. NASCAR had its first ever oval race in the rain today. That was pretty insane, but it seems like weather's been affecting here, as that is a car off that left side. Ricardo Rivera not really having taken any evasive action. Shouldn't hurt the lap time too much.
I mean, I definitely had to get off the throttle there briefly in the S's. It is going to be also an invalid lap this time around for Ricardo. I'm not sure where he ended up doing that, but going to be just trying to set another one here out. It is the odd numbers out first, and the rain is only going to be intensifying, and it is, well, as last week we had it, the track was rubbering in, and the second string of qualifying was going to get the advantage. Looks like not this time around. It's going to be a severe disadvantage to the qualifying runners that are going to be coming out, as the track is going to be sopping wet. So welcome Sword and Keyboard. Here is Diego Cosillo, a previous GT3 driver in the Winter Championship, to my knowledge. I think he had participated in a prior one, now heading towards the line. It looks like it's going to be no improvement this time around, but currently 3/10 off the pace, and really the only one in the ballpark right now of Ricardo Rivera.
Yeah, we've got more evens than we do odds, so the grid might be a little mixed up in terms of drivers who are probably not as high as you expect going up to the higher ranks of the qualifying. Maybe it'll give them an opportunity. But, yeah, I mean, it's not raining too hard, but obviously the less rain on track, the faster you'll go. And if I'm an even number right now, I'm kicking myself for maybe not going 87 instead of 88.
Yeah, unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? As we said last week, we had the track where it was going to be rubbered in. It was a dry, full session. So this is the give and takes of racing, and also just one of the advantages and disadvantages of split qualifying, and is, of course, going to give some advantages to some drivers. However, it is going to be anyone's game at the end of the day, especially when you have the rain. It's going to be qualifying somewhat important. Kyalami, though, a track that's not the most difficult to overtake on. Not the easiest either, though, but it's going to be one, especially down into the second corner, I guess you can call it. It's the first corner, but the second corner, the hairpin, where the action is going to be mostly happening. And of course, now down in towards the back sector, not too much action is going to be happening. The infamous Cheetah, where this Mustang is going to be heading now down the mine shaft towards, or rather through the Crocodiles first. very fun track, one of my favorite tracks out there, 2.8 miles of a roller coaster, and good elevation to it as well when it comes down to it. It's going to be about 25 meters of elevation, 78 feet, about a third of an American football field, somewhere give or take in that range, with a 1.1 kilometer straight. So a bit of action for, like I say, those cars, especially like the Mustang, to get that straight line speed advantage.
Yeah, it's easily probably the most fun corner names in the game, I'd say. But I mean, it's going to be very different because you say there's not a lot of action there. I mean, in that back section, I mean, it's very technical. It's not easy, and you're going to see a bunch of drivers making mistakes, especially in the wet. You're going to see a bunch of drivers trying to get past here. But I'm not sure if the race is confirmed to be wet, so it is a pretty high chance, but it doesn't mean it'll start wet. And so maybe we'll have some strategy to partake into it, as we are on a 75-minute enduro.
Yep.
I know we're all uniform this time around, but yeah, 75-minute enduro, all uniform this time around. And there's a reason we do split quali if you see that many cars coming on track. The evens have just hit the track, and there is a massive puddle of them on the warm-up lap.
You know, I'm noticing a driver up at the top here. It's a name that I haven't seen in third position in quite a long while. Jace, the controller king, who is no longer on a controller. And, oh my goodness, why do I say anything, Jace? Well, Jace Wright is going to be binning it, and that'll be the end of his qualifying, unfortunately. He'll be moving on now towards the next session, in third position, or rather this time is the best that he can do. But it's still a good time nonetheless. He's been struggling since he switched over to the wheel in terms of pace alone. This time around, though, he has managed to find some of it, and it clearly has been putting the practice in.
Yeah, just putting those instincts in, because you have I know what I need to do. It's just getting there to do it. And it's a lot easier, honestly, to learn technical and physical skill to me than it is to learn all the IQ parts about this racetrack and all these racetracks. I mean, you race them completely differently. He starts on controller. He's got to learn now to do what he did with his hands, with his feet, and how to steer with 2 hands instead of 2 thumbs. And it's pretty interesting here, but we're on board with our only Irishman in the TRACKILICIOUS series we've seen so far, Phil Lee, who is going off because that was his final lap. But shout out to him. Has been, I think, almost in every series now.
Yeah, very dedicated driver here at TRACKILICIOUS. And another one here, again, a name that I haven't seen in a very long time, Stefan Lindauer, back out on track. It's been a long while. Raced back in the JRE days, if anyone's familiar with that. That was pre-TRACKILICIOUS, of course. And we eventually branched out from there. And I was, I think, on a team with Lindauer at one point in time. In fact, Lindauer would have to probably correct me. I'm sure he would remember that. But I think we ended up driving with Riley Manier on a team at one point. Maybe not Riley. That was a different one. Anyways, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen the name Stefan Lindauer on track. And I'm curious to see what he can do in that Ferrari 296, the new machinery, out in the wet here. So far, so good through Sector 1. It's been a pretty gingerly sector, though. Not too much on the line, I would say, just sort of getting that feelers in and getting a first lap set, as that's going to be very important here with these conditions.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, no car is really going to be having an advantage out there. I'm not seeing any Porsches straight up, which is, except Zane Blisket, actually, who switched out of that Honda NSX, but that's probably the best car in the rain, and we don't see too many of it. So it's an interesting section. We'll have a lot of interesting points out to here, as I see a lot of guys up there who I do not expect to see. Vadik Odostayev, he's in chat right now. Say hello to him, but very high for him. I think hasn't qualified in the top 5 in a quite some long time. We'll obviously see the evens go around, but very, very high for him.
Yeah, Vadik, I would say fairly average. So far, so good for Vadik. He's been up there in pace, up there in consistency, and he's really gotten his head together. I know he'd mentioned that before, where that was always his problem at the driving at first, as he was maybe a bit more on the limit than he should be, and he's dialed it back a couple percent then, and he's really just found nothing but pure pace and consistency since. And the results have shown. He's been delivering great points and great in all of the championships we've had, and I'm assuming tonight he's not going to fail to deliver. We'll see, though. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. Let's see what Stefan Lindauer here has as he comes around the final corner, punches the throttle, well, as much as he can here with the slippery and slick surface that is at Kyalami. It's going to be enough for P12. Not a bad banker lap, a 148.6 to begin us off.
Yeah, that's the part about split quality that's a little bit rough. You have only 10 minutes, which here it's about, I think, 3 good laps, and there's probably, yeah, it's about 3 good laps with your hot lap warming up, and it can be a little concerning and a little too many mistakes there, and you'll just be kind of off with nowhere to go. But very interesting is all the Mustangs on track. What I am noticing, Ali Raza, speaking of Mustangs, up on pole, he's just done that. The Canadian driver returning back has done a great job so far. And a lot of Mustangs. I think you'll see a lot more Mustangs as the season goes on as well.
Yeah, he's back. We saw it last time around. He wasn't necessarily up to the full speed, but I think he's put the practice in for this race, and he clearly has found the pace. Ricardo Rivera, no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. 3/10 already gapped just on the banker lap alone. There's going to be nothing but gains here for Ali Raza for the number 30 machine in the Razzle Dazzle Motorsports. A great name that he has attributed, and anyone that knows the reference, well, you know the reference. Oh, you're muted.
I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. It beats me. I'm out of the loop on that one. But Raza accompanying Rivera is in a little bit of Mustang sandwich on the board at 787, followed by 30 in the 75. We've got Casillo, I believe, or
Casillo,
the Argentine, now moving into third place, and honestly, quite expecting to see the Mustangs do pretty well here. That straight line speed is going to help them a lot through a lot of these sections with a lot of corner exit and stuff. And I'm not honestly sure. I did not expect the Mustang to be this good in the wet, Mike.
It's heavy. It's got clearly a lot of horsepower, but it's able to deliver it efficiently in the wet. So I also am a bit surprised. Also, welcome everybody that is joining us. I see we got a couple follows. Drewis. Thank you, Drewiness. Anyways, thank you for the follow, as well as Gilman, 1971. Also, JP Grandpa, Monday GT4 driver here, coming for the support. Thank you very much for your support. It's much appreciated. And good luck tomorrow night in whichever series you're competing in, either rookies or open. And they're still available for signups if you guys are interested. Link there in chat. We also got Forzy with the hydrates. Welcome back, Forzy. It's been a while. Moriko joining us. Don't do a donut when you hit Cheetah. I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a few of those tonight. Don't you worry. The Cheetah, one of the more challenging curves in all of racing, pretty much. Also, Borya Burakovsky joining us, and Francis as well. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. We got 75 minutes of racing here tonight. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joining me is Carson Kass, and we got a lot of fun ahead of us.
Yeah, a lot of nighttime. Actually, no, I believe it's only 6 p.m., so it might be rainy, might not. We'll have to see where that section is throughout, but honestly, I think we're in for a very good race. Very good track, obviously. One of the best, if not the best, in the game, and a lot of drivers love it, and there's a reason why.
Definitely top three. Certainly top three for me in terms of tracks. I absolutely love driving it, love commentating it. It always brings the action, and nobody can ever rest. We got Zuka as well as Gartzine22. Welcome. Appreciate you guys. Been a while since we've seen Zuka of Molek as well joining us. Everyone's here. And a full onboard lap for P31. I'm assuming is that going to be Eric the Boss? Is that who you want for that one? Or number 31? Is there a number 31? I'm not sure there is.
I think it's just Eric, who in Wednesday had a very, very good finish, his highest finish in a very long time. P6 lost out in the last corner to Jake Wells. Well, I'm not sure if he's here tonight. He was at the Red Bull Ring, but yeah, I mean, honestly, quite the high finish for him, and that comes with being able to practice the Sunday beforehand, because we had Red Bull Ring for both Sunday GT3 and Wednesday West Coast. That doesn't typically always line up, but stars align for a guy who can't practice all that much, because he's a busy guy.
Indeed. Emirates in the... Hang on. Veloce Academy. Really? Emirates in the Veloce Academy car. All right. I'm assuming that's what that says. I'm pretty sure. That's quite impressive. Emirates has managed to land himself that seat. Excellent job. He's a very quick driver, so it wouldn't surprise me. The driver from Dubai, I'm not sure if he's from Dubai or not, but he is certainly from the UAE.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. I had a little bit of a look of disgust. I didn't mean that. I was just trying to read it. But I just how it is. Bit of a small screen on my end, but Emirates, pretty long-time driver, if I'm correct, and has been a lot around here. He's currently P9, putting out some good laps as we go through here. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of off the track cars, and I think that's going to be a pretty good sign for what to tell. I know a lot of guys do not practice too much on the wet, and I think that's going to go very much into the downfall of many on pit entries A, which we just saw, and B, on pace track, and it's such a technical circuit like this.
I'm not sure that was a scheduled pit stop there from Stefan Lindauer. I think that's what you call a mistake.
drive-through, I guess, and not where you want it to go, because that will be the end of his qualifying, whether he likes it or not. Put him through there. He'll be third section. But Kenneth Portis, another guy who's, I believe, new to the series, but massive, massive impressive runs from him. I mean, you don't see a Honda NSX too often in the top 5, and you're seeing it here right now. Red Dragon, beautiful livery there, but even more beautiful driving from Portis. I'm honestly quite surprised that he was able to do it in the wet as well. I don't know if the NSX is better than that, but kind of odd to see an NSX this high up.
Yeah, I highly doubt it that it's going to be good in the wet. This car is just not quite so great, but Kenneth here proving us wrong, and obviously getting a P3 last week was a stonking result for the Honda NSX. Maybe just trying to get that bring it back movement on here for it. We have a couple other Honda NSXs in this lobby, though they are not quite so lucky in their terms of positions where they have fallen. They've fallen down the ranks, unfortunately. It's a tough car to drive. Easy to rotate, that's for sure. And that's a bit of an understatement. Very easy to turn it around and face the wrong way on track simultaneously.
Sometimes it does it without you turning. Gets a little unsettled on curbs. A little is probably not enough, but I mean, this car is absolutely a nightmare to drive if you don't understand everything that it does. And Portis obviously has got a lot of experience in it. I'm sure he's been driving it for a long time, and when it changed and it wasn't as good, never got out of the car.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's just trying to prove everybody wrong. Just one of those drivers that can kind of flex around in different machinery. Very talented, just all around. Able to go from the Bentley to the Lexus to the McLaren to the Honda to the Porsche. Doesn't matter what they drive. They just have raw pace regardless. And here, Kenneth Portis, are they going to be able to improve? Yes, they are. Up in a P3 there. Podium result at the end of the day for the Red Dragon Honda NSX. Excellent job.
That is absolutely nuts. This is Corey Schutte. He's going to go practice his pit entries, understandably, into the wet, and you have a few drivers last time. Bruno Pio not running the Pigeon Racing machine now, just the regular Ferrari here. It'll be one of our many Brazilian drivers out there on the grid, and honestly, we see more and more representation as the league gets bigger, so send it to your friends. I mean, this is an absolutely wonderful spot to be in, and there's guys from the United Kingdom, from Europe, who are racing out here tonight, and I mean, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, I think, for Phil Lee right now, and he's still out there enjoying his time out here, is coming to almost every single Trackalicious event, and which tells me his sleep schedule is not great. Shout out to Prawn, but it's kind of bizarre that some Europeans are in these leagues so much in the Americas, and thank you very much for coming, and make sure you send this to your European friends, because I guess we need more.
Always looking for more. Link here in the chat. And if you are interested in signing up, definitely check out any of our championships as well as on iRacing as well. But more of that later. Let's get on to the real meat and potatoes that is going to be the event here tonight. And starting us off on pole position, it's going to be, well, a 2-horse race to start with. It's a Mustang and Mustang front row. Ollie Raza leading us away for the number 30 of Mustang GT3, the newest addition to ACC. Quinn Smith lined up next to him for the 888 with Kenneth Portis the second in the Honda NSX. Lined up in third. Ricardo Rivera, fourth fastest here for the 787 with Diego Cosillo behind in, again, that Ford Mustang, one of the newest additions for the Argentine driver. Darren Wicks coming home in 6th position with Jace Wright in 7th. Casey Schutte, 8th quickest here tonight in the 6-shooter racing with Drew Burakovsky in 9th. A great result there for the Lamborghini Evo 2. 10th quickest in the number 4 Ferrari is going to be Emirates in the Valache Academy.
Will be trailed by a fellow manufacturer of Ferrari, of course, of Bruno Pio, with Vadik Odostayev in the Fuchsia Competition Esports behind, with Jason Provolone, the first Mustang out of the top 10. Justin Beachley will be in the Mercedes Beach GT car, followed by Steve Poe, with Patrick Dubois in the Rockefeller Racing car starting in 16th. Wilson Fernandez will start in the 17th in the Vacuum Racing car with Professor Chronotis in 18th. We've got Gage Gonzalez in 19th with Paul Borman, the United Kingdom driver in the 666 car starting 20th.
Devin Anthony coming home in 21st position for the Rockefeller Racing Ford team. Kevin Yu, 22nd here in the Fuchsia Competition Esports, representing the orange color tonight, with Anton Was Company in 23rd. Andre Alex Afonso in the 999 is 24th quickest with Ruggiero Santos in the Scuderia T-Rex Racing team. Say that 3 times fast in P25. Stefan Lindauer in the Southern Star Motorsports, 26th quickest for the number 2, with Matt, our team, coming home in 27th. Armin Ghazarian, the Armenian driver, in 28th, with Juan Martinez from Brazil. Again, that Brazilian representation very strong here tonight for P29. And rounding out your top 30 is going to be Anthony Kelly.
31st will be Will Brunn in the Akatis ASP team. The 98 car will be trailed by Phil Lee, who's actually in Panama, not Ireland, my mistake, with Eric Nakassian starting in the Beach GT car behind him. 34th will be Moriko Yatanashi, a great finish from him previously with Rally Dutchy, his teammate, I believe, behind them. Nick Lewis will start in the software version 7.0. AMR, the 101 car, trailed by Daniel Desardins in 37th, with Spady Bud 38th. Christopher Frederick in 39th, Zane Blisket in 40th, and 996 car, with Jaeger Karu trailing the field in the number 20 car.
Honda near the front and a Honda at the back. What can they do from here for the Japanese manufacturer? We will certainly see. Welcome, everybody. We got a couple subscriptions in that time. Cody Blanton, as well as Steven Tomazic, 17 months. My goodness, Steven, that's almost a year. And Cody Blanton for 15 months. That's also almost a year. Thank you so much for your guys' continued support. Absolute legends, not just in the Twitch chat, but of course, just in the Trackalicious community as a whole. Also, Squigs with a follow. Thank you very much. And Trangisi joining us as well. This is going to be the outlap 2.8 miles ahead of us before we get on to the action here tonight.
Yeah, Ali Raza on pole. Not a sight we've seen so far in any series he's participated in, but I think it'll be, he's glad to be back for him with the Mustang trailing behind. Pretty interested to see where the rain is, Mike, if you see if there's any weather update on that section.
Looking clear. Clear and somewhat sunny, so let's get the video settings changed, because you gotta love the split settings.
I was hoping you'd pick me up on that, but yeah, it's 7 p.m., so it's going to get dark as we go on. It's a 75-minute race, and just because the next 30 minutes are clear does not mean the next 75 will be, so we'll have to see where that plays in. Drivers taking wets and all, but Ali Raza on pole, Quinn Smith in second. Very curious to see which Mustang gets a better start.
Yeah, it'll be really down to the pure driver at this point, and as well as I'd imagine these two drivers have similar setups. They practice together. These two are friends in the Discord and work together quite often. But Quinn Smith here trying to go for the back-to-back win. Is he going to be yielding any to Ali Raza, or is he going to be sending it around the outside of the first corner? Well, we'll certainly be finding out soon enough here. And again, now I guess for put you on the spot here, Carson, any predictions here for tonight? Who do you think is going to win?
Not a great thing to ask me that, because I'm terrible at guessing. Never take any advice from me. Ali Raza is in the same Discord as Quinn Smith. I'm going to go ahead and say that eliminates them, because they're not competitive enough. They're too well of friends. And I think Kenneth Portis will be the surprise winner in the Honda NSX from third place. He had a rough start last time at Red Bull Ring, but he's shown great pace throughout the race. Let me reset. He had the best race pace by far at the Red Bull Ring, and I wouldn't be surprised here. But it's just the Honda NSX is not great on the starts, and he'll just have to make sure Ricardo Rivera doesn't get around him. And that'll be my key to victory tonight. But we've got one required stop. Not sure if the format is on that section. One required stop. I assume they'll take tires. Everybody's strategy will be different with the rain incoming potentially, but Ali Raza will start us off on pole.
Yeah, and I'm going to be taking here, I think Quinn Smith will go back-to-back tonight. I have the confidence that the American driver can do it. He's going to need to put a lot of work forward, as Ali Raza seems to be on his absolute stride right now, but they are lined up quite far away from the line here. It's going to be quite the wait before we end up going green here. Do not let the already 2x2 Noah's Ark formation deceive you. But we'll be seeing what Quinn Smith can do here. He is going to be challenging. Unfortunately, we don't have our defending champion, Cody Blanton, in the series, so the championship is up for grabs in terms of who is going to be taking it. But as we have it here, Ali Raza lined up on pole position with Quinn Smith alongside. I'm Mike Nause. Joined with me tonight is Carson Kass as we approach the line here and get ready to go green and head down to the first corner, the kink, and we go green, green, green now, and it's an amazing start for Ricardo Rivera as he's going to be trying to eke his way to the inside now. Ali Raza and Quinn Smith off to a fairly even start, but here we see the McLaren backing out early. The Honda NSX trying to find any sort of alternative line he can, but no, the McLaren down the inside. That's going to be a little bit too wide for Quinn Smith, and he has now dropped down to third place already, trying to send it, though, back to the inside of Barbecue. He goes fully alongside here, trying to look for the exit up towards Sunset now. Ricardo Rivera, though, with a punchy McLaren. We see a flash of the headlights behind, just trying to get a little bit distracting there, but in through Sunset, it is going to be the Puerto Rican that secures the position for now.
Not sure if he'll have it for long. He's going to deal with this Mustang for the rest of the night, I'm sure. That position will not come easy, but he's putting pressure on Ali Raza ahead. Kenneth Portis falls to 4th because just on NSX things, I suppose. But the driver outside, that is Vidigo to Stayev jumping out. We've got plenty of battles up in the front, but way more calm than it was at Red Bull Ring, I have to say. And that's somebody off, flipping around. I think that's Emirates. Yeah, Emirates off the Veloce Academy car. Seems to have spun, maybe on his own, maybe with someone else, but that is a massive fall from 9th. He's all the way down to 26, still fighting for positions with fellow Ferraris.
A little bit of an aggressive rejoin there, but he does make it back safe, although he's got dirt on his tires. He goes for the lunge, though, to the outside towards Kelly. Is going to get squeezed, though, wide here. The Ferrari needs to leave room, though, on the outside for the fellow competitor. Now down the mine shaft, though, as they approach Cheetahs. I think that the Emirates should have the advantage. He'll have the inside line here. He goes for it late onto the brakes and does secure that. But there's a cause Devin Anthony parked on the side there in the grass as they continue side by side. Now Emirates has found himself going through Cheetah, and he does back out. That would be very dangerous for the Scuderia T-Rex and might be taking a bite not just out of Cheetah but out of the whole T-Rex in general. Thankfully, we don't quite see that. Up at the front, though, Ricardo Rivera back on the chase here, looking for the move into the first few corners, or second corner, that is. Gets loose, though. That's going to open up the opportunity now for Quinn Smith down towards the barbecue, although I think it's just going to be a little bit too much of a bridge to thwart at this point.
Yeah, it'll just depend. It is an endurance race. You obviously don't see too many big lunges in the front, but Ricardo Rivera doing a great job to secure himself P2. And that top 4 is now kind of leaving the Mustang of Cecilio back in the other side, the 75 car. Just doesn't have enough pace and seems to keep up with these top 4. And I think, Mike, you should choose one of these 4 if you want to choose who your winner is tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if it's I'd be surprised if it's anybody but these 4. But in the other section here, we've got so many cars compact, 40 cars at Kyalami. Is quite the compact grid, I have to say.
Indeed, and unfortunately here we see a little bit of wish for the Canadian drivers in chat, but our Quebec driver, Patrick Dubois, has ended up facing the wrong way on the start-finish straight, though there's some bumping and banging between our race leaders now. Ali Raza getting a little bit of a tap on the rear end there from Ricardo Rivera. That's going to check him up immediately into the front bumper there of Quinn Smith, trying to find a lunge into Sunset, gets covered off, and there's contact between the two, and that's going to be Ricardo Rivera deep, but Ali Raza almost gets collected by Quinn Smith. Thankfully, he just avoids the contact, though Kenneth Portis II takes the race lead from that.
On the inside through Cheetah, he forces Ali Raza off sectionally, but he's not out of the woods yet. Still in P1 here, trying to beat a Mustang down in a frontline race, and we've got Casillo now, the Argentine, moving into this battle. That was an absolutely, I don't even know what happened there. It seemed a little bit more too much of aggression between both drivers there, but Ali Raza somehow managing to escape it. Into turn 2, technically. Casillo 3 wide with a Honda NSX and a Mustang. As they get contact, as the NSX manages to escape it, most Mustangs into each other. That is rough, and Rivera's back with Raza.
Diego Casillo now falling all the way down the grid, gets unfortunately spun. Ali Raza is left here just to deal with what he can, and that is going to be Ricardo Rivera behind, but ahead of him, Kenneth Portis is walking away and smiling at the opportunities that are unfolding behind him.
Yeah, he really needs to not let off the gas here, though. Ali Raza and Ricardo Rivera started P1 and P3 for a reason, and are both very, very good with the race pace, and it will be consistent, as he's just going to have to try his best to run away here. But Ali Raza and Ricardo Rivera back battling again. Quinn Smith seems to have gotten the worst of it through that section. I'm not quite sure where he's at anymore, but Ali Raza into the section here. We shouldn't see too much of a lunge from Ricardo Rivera, but a little too much aggression. He may see his race almost over again.
Yeah, it's been an aggressive one so far, and it's aggressive again now towards the top of Ingwe. It's going to be Ali Raza under heavy pressure from the likes there of the McLaren, now heading down towards the Crocodiles. I don't think there's a move there on the cards just yet. They're going to clamber over that inside curb now, moving towards Cheetah. The opportunities are so low, and Ricardo Rivera, he knows that. It's about patience. This is not a sprint race, despite what these drivers are driving like. This is still an hour left on the clock for them to thwart. In fact, an hour and 10 minutes, so plenty of time for them to fight it out here. We see some penalties already being handed out, unfortunately, the previous race penalties, as well as potential start place infringement, I would assume. But now Ali Raza under pressure, and no slipstream, no lifeblood ahead of him right now, and it's just going to be pretty much blood in the water right now for Ricardo Rivera. Through the first sector they go, and it seems he has it covered for now, but really he'll be looking now down towards Sunset.
Yeah, he does not need to have too much aggression here. He's got 75 minutes, or I guess 70 minutes now. And to be honest with you, that was very, very high aggression from a guy that didn't need it. He's got the pace to win. He's got the pace to beat him. And there's no way you're going to win this race at this point. And I think that move with Quinn Smith there was a little bit of both those drivers just being too anxious. I guess too anxious on the start of a race when you don't really want to have that much aggression. It's cost Quinn Smith his race, almost cost for Ricardo Rivera as he looks towards the inside here. He'll be alongside on Raza. Bit of an aggressive move here. He'll back out, though. Doesn't want to deal with a Mustang into his front right panel.
Yeah, that would be bold to go for a move in the S's. Certainly not quite, or there's better opportunities, let's just say that. Here at the top of the hill of Leocope, I called it Ingwe last time, that's my bad. It's Leocope here at the top of the hill and beginning the descent now. The long descent down the mine shaft where these cars pick up speed so quickly. You can't even tell in sim. We can hop on the dash here, or at least, I don't even hop on the rear wing of Ollie Raza and just give an example here. Just the closing speed and the sheer intimidation factor that we see. That's a back marker already getting out of the way of Spady Bud. Gets dispatched with relative, or excuse me, I think that was Nick Lewis, rather, gets dispatched with relative ease. The next one will be Spady Bud, who's in pit lane currently.
Yeah, it's a drive through for Bud, but Ollie Raza, he's going to deal with Ricardo Rivera all night. As Kevin Portis looks like he's getting, Kenneth Portis rather, looked like he was getting a bit of a lead, had it up to 3 seconds, but now it's all the way down to 2. Ollie Raza with the fastest lap on that lap by about 4/10, closer than anybody else. That is wild. And the 142 they dispatch some back markers as we go.
Ricardo really trying to find anything he can right now, and I'm not even sure why. He's trying to force Ollie into a mistake and really is using a lot of his tires, using a lot of just his, the percentage in his tank, really, just in mentally. And I guess Ricardo, now he's an experienced driver, esports level. He knows how to handle these situations, but so is Ollie Raza. This is a level of, a very high IQ battle right now. I think that we're going to be seeing from the American machine versus the British machine on track. And ahead of them, Kenneth Portis. He's really just trying his best to do what he can to extend his gap right now while these two fight it along. Vadik Kudzitsiev in a fight with Darren Wicks as well. I think he just got overtaken by the Nissan GTR, but what is a Nissan GTR doing in 4th position? My goodness.
You know, it seems we're in silly season so far with as he tries to go around the outside, but that V10 Huracan won't have enough speed there. Darren Wicks puts it in the right places. Now he's under pressure from Jace Wright, qualified pretty well behind him. 2 Lamborghinis now chasing Godzilla through the crocodile section here. I am quite confused as, again, why there is a Nissan GTR up here, but Darren Wicks doing Darren Wicks things as usual, it seems. Has been up here for quite a while, finished top 10 in the Red Bull Ring, and I guess he's looking to continue that with a P4 right now.
It's been a bit of a thorn in the side, though, of the Lamborghinis behind, and it is going to be really 2 bulls locking horns and the 2 teammates and seeing if they can work together and push Darren Wicks out of the way with just pure strength alone. It's going to be a big push now down the start-finish straight, the grunt of the Lamborghini and the slipstream effect, but the Nissan is so quick in a straight line. The Lamborghinis, they can't even keep up.
Yeah, I don't really quite know what's going on here with Darren Wicks. He's been absolutely excellent so far. And, you know, it's pace that I haven't seen out of a guy who's clearly been putting in the practice, and that's something I can appreciate. I like to see guys out there practicing a bunch. And speaking of that, Kenneth Portis, who's in the lead right now, put down 71 laps of practice. And, you know, maybe that contributes to something here. And I know guys don't practice in the lobbies or some sort, or practice in the lobbies or don't do all that. Thank you, Mikhail Stutsenko, for the follow. Ferrari esports driver, my close friend. But thought I should mention that. But Darren Wicks still here under pressure as Jace Wright battles it out behind with Vadik Kudzitsiev.
Yeah, keeping the pressure firmly on right now and just trying to keep his hand on, well, try to keep all 4 tires between the track. That's going to be the main goal, it seems. Behind them is also the McLaren of Gage Gonzalez, who's sort of in a very good opportunity to capitalize on any mistakes that are going to happen here. I still think it is going to be a bit of a knife fight in a phone booth down to the end. And speaking of, here is Ricardo Rivera making the move to the outside of the Crocodiles. He's going to be trying to slingshot himself now to the inside of Cheetah. But if they do go side by side, it's going to be really a dice roll to see if they make it out. Not this time, though, and every time you go through Cheetah, it is just a hope that you don't roll a 1. So far, so good, though, for the top pack as they go now down onto the start-finish straight and begin the drag race once again. The McLaren has shown speed, but not as much as the front car, or rather, Ollie Raza. I still keep forgetting Kenneth Portis is so far away. I keep forgetting that there is a leader. You can see him there just in frame as he pulls out into the first or second corner now, and Ricardo Rivera, I see the car body language has changed a little bit. You can see he's still trying to find different lines there. That's honestly part of just the difference between the front engine car of the Mustang and the mid-engine car of the McLaren. You can see the rotation is a bit better, a little bit more understeery for Ali Raza, who's complained about this car in the past. He said he's not too big of a fan of it. We talked to him last week, and he's not quite gelling with it as of yet. We'll see as the season continues on just how much he ends up liking it and how much he can get to it. Obviously, a pole position, not quite turned into a race win just yet, but still with an hour and 3 minutes left, anything can happen in racing, and it normally does.
Yeah, as these two battle, I can tell you a guy who's smiling in his mirror right now. It's Kenneth Portis, obviously. He's got so much more time between now him and even P4. This group ahead is just running away with it. Ali Raza and Rivera are obviously battling quite a bit here, maybe setting each other's off a little bit of the line, but Ali Raza's kind of just setting the pace between these two right now as they're trying to carve back into Kenneth Portis' lead. But these two battle a lot quickly than other drivers, it seems, as they are pulling away. And that is a bit of an understatement. 5 seconds to the car outside of the podium spot.
Yeah, it's really about, not battling at this stage, in my opinion. I think they've done a good job of that. Ricardo Rivera at this point is just trying to keep Ollie honest, keep him in his mirrors, or rather keep in his mirrors, and basically force him into mistakes like that. And if he does make one a little bit worse than that, he will be there to sweep up the scraps immediately. And you can already see that that is a slipping and sliding Camaro. Oh, dang it, I even had to think about it, and I still did it wrong. The Mustang. One day, chat. But now down to the first corner. I think it is going to be just a bit too far back for Ricardo again. It's just going to be about maintenance, trying to maintain that gap and keep alongside and really work back up to Kenneth Portis, because that's going to be the objective at the end of the day. You can fight for second all you want, but you want the race win.
Yeah, but Ego Dostayev here under some serious pressure from Jace Wright. These two battling have got behind Darren Wicks. He's getting some time away, but neither of them can really get this pack of 4 away from each other. Wicks leading the 4. He's not really kind of setting the pace for them as much as there's just so much battling happening behind Jace Wright under pressure, almost overtaken last lap, as we see Vadik almost overtaken by Jace himself, and Darren Wicks is just hoping that nobody ends up in the back of him, missing a braking zone or anything else like that. His P4 would be very excellent, but Vadik here under threat. Is the McLaren now going to be putting a threat on Jace Wright? These 3 cars are in a train absolutely down this section here.
Yeah, and they are pushing each other fully. In fact, Jace Wright's pushing himself off the track there. Gage Gonzalez says, thank you very much. That was like taking candy from a baby. And he moves on with ease up into P6 now for the number 13 McLaren. Next target up the road is Vadik, but this is going to be a bit awkward because now, with Vadik and Jace being on the same team, Vadik can sort of back up Gage into a bit of a compromised situation, maybe get him a poorer run out of a corner, and that'll allow Jace to sort of just get the slipstream and really make the overtake easy if they work together enough. Now, obviously, it could play both ways, and they both could lose the position then, and that certainly wouldn't be ideal, but having a teammate around you is always going to be helpful in racing.
Speaking of overtake, Ricardo Rivera has overtaken Ali Raza for P2. It looked like a mistake somewhere along the line, and Ali Raza down in P3. But that Puerto Rico sim racing car is now running a little bit away with it, as now he doesn't have to deal with the Mustang in a straight line.
And the gaps have settled down up front. We still have Wilson Fernandez here, who started quite a bit further back than I would have expected. P17 has worked his way up 5 positions thus far and is trying to overtake a Mustang without his headlights on, it seems, or with his low beams on at the very least, which is a very interesting decision. Jason Provolone, he's in the Intimidator sort of Ford Mustang. A very lovely livery. I think they also had a few other drivers running this one. I'm not sure. Who else was it? It was, I think Mason was running it. Yeah.
He's moving out. So he'll be back next week in a completely different location. We'll see if that helps the Intimidator Mustang at all. But his teammate Jason Provolone's still out there tonight. And he's probably cheesing. I believe he's up about 4 positions. Think he started P15. Might be totally wrong about that.
Yeah, just a little. You're slightly wrong. It's only up 2 positions from 13, but still doing great work.
I have no pit skill. I'm running here with a piece of paper I wrote things down on. So going a little bit, I guess, historic here in the booth, but hey, it still works out here. The Intimidator car doing an absolutely wonderful job with 3 cars behind, all in a battle themselves. It's two Mercedes and an Aston Martin.
Indeed,
that's a BMW and a Nissan, but close enough.
Modern problems require ancient solutions sometimes, and this is a modern problem that Jason Provolone has, and he has an ancient V8 in that bonnet, if you ask me. The 5.4-liter Coyote engine, basically a hunk of American metal, and that's, at the end of the day, heck, what a V8 truly is, isn't it, chat? So he's going to be powering that along behind him, the new future technology, the futuristic car that is the BMW M4. Futuristic, heavy air quotes around that, but I would call it. Yeah, yes, it is the new one. It's a very nice car as well. I absolutely love the M4, though some people would say, oh, the M3 is better. You know, I like the 2-door variant versus the 4-door variant. Just, you know, if you want a fast car, what do you need 4 doors for? Just saying.
Room for the kids? I don't know, but the new M4 is coming out next year. They're bringing out looks literally the same, but it is higher tech in that sense there. But yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for the Mustang. That V8 is the best car in a straight line, and it's obviously been showing here. As I mean, there's not much to it. Drew Burakovsky's off. Oh, my rejoin. He cuts off the Mustang, who flashes him. Not very happy with that, as now he's putting pressure on the BMW. At red, Future Competition Esports car, seeing red there, the BMW punching him to the left.
Yeah, that was certainly intentional. I don't think that there's any arguing that one for me, Wilson Fernandez, though I don't necessarily blame you. I don't endorse it, but it's definitely a heavyweight boxing match, heavyweight boxing match here between these two, sort of a Mike Tyson versus Fury, and well, Wilson Fernandez there getting clattered into the side panel, rather clattering the side panel of Drew Burakovsky, saying, no, sir, I'm not okay with that rejoin, though unfortunately he has to settle for it and has now dropped off the bumper of Provolone and allowing him to walk away a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some heightened aggression against that Lamborghini right now from that BMW, as he's still behind him, which is not really what you want to see. Maybe the bull holding the red this time as the car behind him chases that BMW, though. I don't think I want to watch turn one, but unfortunately it's like a train wreck. I have to keep my eyes on it.
Yeah, the only red that driver, that the bull is going to be seeing, that, well, there's no bull seeing red. It's Wilson Fernandez. He sees a full red mist at this point, and he's going to be wanting that position back surely sooner than later. It's going to be about dialing back in, though, and really calming it down. He knows his place. He knows his position, and at the end of the day, he would have been behind him anyways, so it's just about having to make the overtake that he would have had to. Here he's going to be trying it now into Sunset around the outside. It will turn to the inside if he gets alongside for long enough, but it is going to be a long, sweeping right-hander that is not going to have an opportunity, though. Into Clubhouse Bend, he's thinking about it. I would think twice. I've seen it before. It's definitely a possible opportunity. If you're on the inside, and you sort of can run them out of track, but you got to be very confident about it, though I do sense Wilson Fernandez is going to have some newfound confidence again after that little bit of rubbing.
Yeah, I mean, you see it before and they never see it again because it typically goes very badly. And you see that there with Wilson Fernandez, who is probably not too happy right now, still keeping it composed. He's looking for a route around. He hasn't obviously pummeled the Lamborghini in front just yet. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen, but, you know, still race ahead of me and a Lamborghini ahead of him as they head down towards Cheetah. And I've not seen too many mistakes at Cheetah so far in the upper half of the grid, which has been very nice. And, Mike, I have to say, I think these guys practiced. I think these guys listened to us from last season.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Kenneth Portis in the free practice server that we have at TRACKILICIOUS. For all of our races, we have a free practice server that if you are in the league, you can join and compare yourselves to the other drivers and just get some practice in for the conditions of the actual race, I think is what these servers typically set to. Don't quote me on that, by the way, but it is? Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to add that little white text at the bottom in. But, yeah, just you never know. Oh, and there's contact behind. Hold that thought. Andre Alex Afonso and Justin Beachley having a bit of rubbing themselves at this time. Still side by side through into barbecue. It is going to be settled, and Andre Alex Afonso will lose that position to Justin Beachley. Let's go back and see what happened. Into the first corner. Here we go. Alex Afonso's online. Oh, but he checks up onto the brakes a little bit too much. I think a very interesting collision, to be completely honest.
I mean, you can't drive into the back of the guy, but Alfonso, I think, maybe had a little bit of a slip there, had to brake. But, you know, nice of the Mercedes to put him back going straight forward. The 999 car will lose the position, but regain it, actually, at some point around there as Professor Chronotis in this massive midfield section we've got here. A lot of cars. There's about 2 midfield packed right now. There's this one and the one behind it. And those drivers are very tight and Not too many elbows out, though. They understand they've still got 55 minutes left, and the best thing to do is to race together. And we don't see that a lot. Guys working together, whether they mean to or not, they're doing it right now.
Yeah, Matter team, though, up 12 positions, it is to be said. The 414 Audi, so far so good, from P27 up to 15 at the moment, though he is currently being hawked down from Professor Chronotis. And though we started in daylight, chat, we have to make a quick adjustment to the video settings because you love changing conditions. Should be the last time we have to do that. And there we go. Look at that. We can see so much better, chat.
Yeah, our mandatory pit stop is that's Borman off at Cheetah behind. Keeps it straight, though, and I think some theatrics we're about to see into T1. Matt, our team under threat from Professor Chronotis, who himself has to deal with a Mustang, which in a straight line, not awesome. Chronotis going to look on that inside line, maybe try and find some room if our team will let him. He'll be late on the brakes, but way more distance than the camera let me see, but he'll do pretty well there. Our team is, elbows out there for Chrono. Maybe made contact with Borman behind.
I'm not sure. I think the camera angle's being a bit... There might have been a light brushing there, but I think the camera is being a bit harsh. Behind that, I did want to also check in just briefly. Where the heck did they go? They have disconnected, haven't they? Unfortunately, it seems... let me find an update on that here briefly. Yeah, I don't... Oh, no, Diego Cosillo. Here we are. I was looking for the name. Has made up even more positions than I thought. So obviously one of our front runners from the start, the Argentine driver, up into P25 since the recovery, has made up a few positions since. We also have a battle between Rally Dutchy here and Juan Martinez. Yes, probably Martinez in... No, Martins. Martins. Yes, Martins.
Yeah.
In the number in P28 here, and the number 12 for McLaren.
You guys are up. There's somebody... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing entirely. There's cars off behind, but Rally Dutchy here is a pretty experienced driver here in the Mad Fox Sim Racing team. They have a lot of drivers now. They've been improving the numbers, and there's been more and more to go on. And speaking of numbers improving, Vadiko Dostayev hoping to get closer to that podium position. That V10 trying to hawk down that Nissan, but so fast in a straight line.
Yeah, he just moves over to the racing line to try to go for the switchback here. He sends it fully along the outside, actually. No switchback needed, and he gets the job done. A full confidence send from Vadik, and that is the sort of plays that, well, somebody who, again, you mentioned before the practice, they clearly have practiced that line and worked the alternate, but just carrying the speed, maximize the minimum speed through the corner, and really Darren Wicks isn't able to answer. Now Gage Gonzalez getting a little bit squirmy himself as he tries to hunt down the Nissan GTR.
Yeah, Wix's lines haven't been that smooth this lap, and you see it there. He went way too tight into turn 2, and he's being hawked down by Gage Gonzalez right now. You can tell the body language of that car is going a little bit faster and wants to go around right now. But Darren Wicks still in 5th, the 46 car. You can see very clearly on the side, so thank you very much for that. But, yeah, I mean, the salmon colored and the nice pastel blue is about to have to deal with Gage Gonzalez for, I think, quite a while, unless he gets past him soon.
Yeah, and behind that, we also have a battle again emerging from Wilson Fernandez and Drew Burakovsky. These two, we'll see what happens between them. They were interrupted rudely beforehand and has since been thwarted, or rather the battle can continue on here between the 68 and the 8. We also have Quinn Smith, who was our P2 starter at the beginning of this race, also getting caught up in an incident of his own causing, unfortunately. Dipped a tire onto the inside of Sunset and sent himself almost careening into the side panel of Ali Raza. Managed, though, to keep it clean beyond that, and now into P17 on a recovery drive. A little bit deep there, but though that is going to be within track limits, no warnings being picked up.
A little bit outside on Cheetah, and I've seen the Mustangs are having the most trouble through there, and that probably makes sense. That is a very heavy car, as he's chasing down a Mustang himself. But honestly, I'm curious about that Quinn Smith incident because it looked almost like Rivera turned in on him. Might be the camera, might be me watching it through 720p on Discord. But I'm not quite sure that accident is black and white there. We'll have to see what the stewards think about it eventually. Is Quinn Smith trying to get back on that recovery drive? Doing a pretty good job. As he's Chrono, who's in the Discord call with, battling with Borman ahead. Borman.
It was a bit of an awkward exchange right there. Professor Chronotis got loose, which caused Quinn Smith to check up, and then Paul Borman had nowhere really to go and checked up into the back of Quinn Smith. I wouldn't say that's really anyone's fault necessarily, but thankfully everyone getting out relatively unscathed with minor damage to all of the cars, just sharing a little bit of love with each other.
Yeah, If love is a paint scratch on the left front panel. But Gage Gonzalez here still putting massive pressure on Wicks. A little less here. He said, I made a mistake through that section. And that's what I'm talking about, I think, earlier with how technical these turns can be. This is way, way less than how good you can overtake, because there's one massive overtaking spot, and that's turn 2. It's about how well you can get through that section, technical sections of this course, and get through the rest of this race. Those sectors have been very, very hard for a lot of drivers, and Gage Gonzalez proving that he's doing quite all right. There's massive dust kicked up at Cheetah. No corpses around those. Gage Gonzalez is getting back on Darren Wicks, who's getting closer to Vidiko Dostayev.
I'm trying to make out what that back bumper says. I need Gage Gonzalez to get closer. Come on, Gage, close the gap so we can read the back bumper there of Darren Wicks.
I got you. This is a high-tech reading. Okay, never mind.
No,
nice
as Darren's
crashed.
Oh, well, fair enough. The fullest? I think it says the fullest? I'm not sure. But the Green Light Racing Nissan GTR through the first sector we go, chasing down Vidiko Dostayev. Up at the front, we haven't mentioned too much of that recently. Kenneth Portis still leading by 1.8 seconds over Ricardo Rivera, who is leading over Ali Raza. And then Darren Wicks, followed up by Gage Gonzalez, Jace Wright, Bruno Pio, Casey Schutte, and Drew Burakovsky. Now, Bruno Pio is a name that I didn't expect to see up in these positions. How many positions gained? 3 so far. Bruno Pio up from 11th. A great drive so far for the AF course of the previous Pigeon Racing machine. Though Gage here, he's looking awfully racy as they head up the hill now towards Liakop. Is he going to make the move to the inside? He looks for it, but he backs out of it very early and checks up to the bumper. Not going to be going for it just yet.
Yeah, so I think it says the illest based on stream, which I believe is a reference to some sort of hip-hop thing. I'm not quite familiar on it. I know it's definitely been a term thrown around there a lot, but Gage Gonzalez here still putting massive pressure here. But this battle is causing the cars behind Bruno Pio, Casey Schutte, like you mentioned, to come close in, and it's pretty interesting. Schutte, I know he's in the Aston Martin. Sorry, I thought he was in that Ferrari there, which would have been a new car for him.
Oh, as that's going to be another, you mentioned the mistakes at Cheetah. There is one for sure. Jace Wright going to get a terrible exit now, and Bruno Pio should be able to eat this one up for breakfast, though he gets a poor exit himself, so now trying to match the speed. And into that slipstream, the V6 engine trying to get up to the chaps that 5.2 V10, the Audi engine can, now onto the brakes. It seems that Jace Wright has thwarted that one off for the time being.
Yeah, the Fuchsia competition cars, I'm pretty interested to see who's actually a Fuchsia competition driver and all. We've got so many liveries now. It used to just be one blue centralized livery, but we've got red cars out there. I think I saw a yellow car at some point, or potentially, or just yellow highlights, but very fun team, competes a lot around here. As Gage Gonzalez getting around a backmarker, Phil Lee, the Irishman who is not in Ireland, in Panama, does a pretty good job getting around there. And that's a skill that we talk about a lot, is being a back marker, and being a good back marker is a skill in itself by not ruining your own race and not ruining anybody else's race. And Phil Lee, I very much appreciate him. I talked to him about this. He's quite the technical guy. He's a fast racer, but he finds himself sometimes behind, and he does a great job here. As Gage Gonzalez looking towards the inside.
Yeah, it's not about where you finish. It's just about getting that checkered flag and the experience at the end of the day. And obviously for some drivers, it is about the win, but not everybody can have that luxury. Only one driver can have that luxury, in fact, in case you were curious. Fun fact, only one person wins a race. Regardless, Gage Gonzalez, he wants to be that one.
Multi-class.
Okay. Sure. You got me. You got me. I will agree with you on that one. We don't have to worry about that tonight, though. It's going to be just one class out there, and Gage Gonzalez, he wants that one win to his name. He has a lot of work to do, though, ahead of him with the likes of the Godzilla car as he weaves on the straight out of frustration or acknowledgement of the stream, one of the two.
Or probably not this, so don't listen to me at all. Potentially his tires are set up wrong. But, I mean, maybe getting heat into those tires, I have no idea why he would be doing that. But Gage Gonzalez has been doing that a little bit. I don't know why. He's been doing it repeatedly. And I
wouldn't be doing that specific movement to get heat into my tires. That's just going to end up using extra rubber for no reason. You want to get some nice full sweeps into it where your car is getting all heat and everything. You want to do that ideally on your outlap in case... you were curious.
I'm gonna go with acknowledgement here because he's been doing an off stream as well. Let
That's
Darren
weird.
Wicks know that he's behind him, but to each their own. We all have our kicks. I drive the KTM GT4. I mean, it's just how it goes.
Professor Kanotis here trying to make way onto Moriko Yatanashi. Both of these drivers have made their one mandatory pit stop for tonight. It's a 25-second fixed fuel, 5 additional seconds if they would like tires. And both of these drivers decided to come in with quite a long repair. Or no, excuse me, Moriko is not on tires. That's Diego Cosillo behind that did. And 41 seconds spent in pit lane for Professor Kanotis, and now in a battle on fresh rubber against the likes of Moriko. It should be a fairly easy, though the tire difference isn't going to be as much as you would think. It's going to be only 30 minutes running so far. We still have 45 minutes to go, and that is going to be a fairly cut and dry overtake for Professor Kanotis.
Yeah, we're going to see some guys start to try and attempt the undercut here who are very advantageous with it, Professor Kanotis being one of them, but we shouldn't see too many pit stops for a while.
Side by side, though, Darren Wicks and Gage Gonzalez down the straight. Gage is finally pulling the trigger. Looks to the inside here. He's going to need to go late, and he goes about even with the Nissan. Finds it alongside, but the Nissan's going to get a much better exit now, heading down towards Barbecue. Who's going to overcook it? It's going to be the Nissan. He clobbers the curb and clambers over it with a lot of effort. Through the corner they go, and that is going to be Gage Gonzalez up into P5 for now. The Nissan, though, coming immediately back at him towards the sunset, but not going to happen. Again, that long sweeping corner, the nature of it, not going to allow the Nissan to carry alongside.
Yeah, quite interesting how Wicks got a better exit there, and that's Yatanashi off, not wanting to deal with any of that. Understandably, put himself in the grass there as he watches. I mean, Darren Wicks, I don't know how that car got a better exit. Quite impressive there, but now he's going to be under pressure from Jace Wright, who's pushing on that back bumper now. Darren Wicks has been falling through the field, but not really too badly. It's just down another car, down another section. It's been a little bit rough on the straights for him getting an exit out of this final section right near Cheetah. Is going to be big for him here as Jason Wright chases in his back bumper.
As he pushes on through the mine shaft, down the hill and around the curves, it's not going to be an opportunity just yet. He feels comfortable. You can see they're taking a very different line there to the Nissan GTR, which is very interesting. Christopher Friedrich has gone off, it seems, in that back sector, in the front sector, I should say, through the first corner. Should be a fairly easy recovery for them. I don't think anyone is going to be getting damage from that. As it stands, we are going to be approaching that pit phase, I would say, within the next 10 minutes. So we're going to start to see maybe the undercut come in. We already are seeing some drivers pull into pit lane, in fact. And who were those drivers that I just saw going in? It seems none of the front runners. Fastest laps.
Vadik.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's no front runner. Vadik Stayev. I guess the first of the Fuchsia cars to get in there, and that's the yellow I was talking about. A bit of a Renault-type livery there, but Ricardo Rivera now putting pressure for the lead here. Kenneth Portis seems to have lost his lead after so long. This was 2 seconds initially, and after a while, Ricardo Rivera now putting pressure on the back bumper. The 787 looking to fly past this NSX here.
Yeah, Ricardo Rivera has put in the fastest lap overall in the session. Last time around, he was about a second quicker as well. I'm not sure what happened to Kenneth Portis, as he is severely off the pace right now. Is it a tire management problem? I'm not sure, but as we approach that halfway point, it is going to be really a do or die moment right now for Kenneth. Is he going to come in this stop, or this time around, to change tires? He might, as I would imagine there's something wrong with the setup here, and Ricardo Rivera going to be trying to take full advantage of that, go as long as he can, and really maximize the speed that he has out on track here. But first, we're going to see if Kenneth does decide to come in this lap. If not, then Ricardo, well, he has all the work to do ahead of him, and it looks like Ricardo is the one that pulls the trigger and goes for the undercut, actually, onto Kenneth Portis. I really like this strategy.
I'm not a massive fan of it. You're gonna have Portis' number right there, and you're gonna have open track ahead, or at least some open track ahead, and Ricardo Rivera is gonna come out right in this midfield section. And honestly, I'm not sure if I want that. It's gonna be Portis who's breathing a sigh of relief. He's got some back markers ahead, then he's got easy going until he wants to pit here. But I'm not sure how that move is going to turn out. We'll see in 40 minutes time. It might not be terrible, might be not great if Rivera finds himself stuck with back markers.
Yeah, you're right. If he does come out in back markers, it will be certainly an issue. It's a bit of a gamble for Ricardo, but I like the undercut. I like that audacity of just going inside. I want the new rubber. I want to go set even faster laps than I'm setting right now. I'm feeling good. Let's go. Now, the argument obviously could be made as well. You're feeling good. Why don't you stay out and continue that pace and just go for the raw overtake? But I don't think Ricardo feels that he has the pace to make the overtake on track. I think he wants to go for something different here, go for the gamble and try to make the easy overtake through strategy. And, well, just pure brain power alone, which wouldn't surprise me if he makes it happen. Let's see here. He has started to exit pit lane. Where is he going to come out? He comes out with a very clean bubble, in fact, ahead here of Will Brunner, and Rally Dutchy ahead as a blue flag. This, I think, is going to work wonders for Ricardo Rivera. I think he's done an absolute masterclass of a strategy, and Kenneth is going to have to respond to this lap, I'm pretty sure.
We'll have to see what Kenneth decides to do. He might just stay out anyway. There's a certain point where if you think you're beat, you just try something absolutely nuts, and we've seen it before through many sections here, but yeah, Kenneth Porta is going to be dealing with a lot of things. Vadik Odostayev, in comparison to Ricardo Rivera, is about 20 seconds off, if you're curious. Nope, not 20. Yep, actually about 20 seconds off, if you're curious where he's going to end up. So a big gap between the front runners and where Ricardo Rivera came out. He'll be pretty good up until he catches the traffic ahead.
And Stephen Buckley used to run the Nissan GTR. Yes, he was an absolute menace in a good way, I should say, in that car. And he was very much a fan of it and did a great job. Car not for me, I gotta say, sword and keyboard. I gotta agree with you. I cannot drive the car myself, but Darren Wicks, he clearly can. Up at a 4th position and pushing along thoroughly, is 1.5 seconds off of Gage Gonzalez, with Jace Wright close behind, trying to put a little bit of a dent in his strategy and hopefully not a dent in his car. But we also saw Kenneth Portis. He elected to stay out. That surprises me. I thought Kenneth would have called the strategy there and just tried to negate the damage. I think Ricardo is going to be taking the race lead at this point.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That's just, I think, rough there. It's the NSX. I'm sure he's had a problem somewhere. As he lost that gap time very, very quickly. Maybe bumped into a wall somewhere. But something is wrong with the setup. And he's going to definitely have to come in soon if he wants any chance of winning this race. But Ali Raza, now a guy you have to look towards, is if he can compete through this section now.
Yeah, also, let's see what Jace has on the cards. As we go on the dash here, this is what, or rather on the bonnet, you can see the visibility or lack thereof, rather, and the car pulled off to the side. That was going to be Patrick Dubois. And again, just on the bonnet cam, it seems like everything's approaching much quicker than it is. Because it is. This is one of those objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Well, yeah, this is the case right now. We're not quite in the driver's seat, and so bit of a scare there. We're approaching and see just the speeds that we get up to as well down the mine shaft. Heavy onto the brakes through the crocodiles. A swift right-hander and a bit loose there for the GTR. That's going to put a smile on Jace's face and say, well, maybe I have an opportunity here into the final sector, trying to set it up through the final corner here and get the run onto the start-finish straight. He's thinking actually about sending it into the final corner, though the Nissan, this is going to be pretty much sold if he can get on the power in time, but Jace was late on the power. The Nissan able to just carry that momentum, and the straight line speed is going to be no match for Jace.
Yeah, Jace on that left side just ate the curb, unfortunately, and that Lamborghini did not like that. He was up over both tires airborne, which is not great if you're using 2 wheels to accelerate. And he goes wide there. It looks like Wicks, again, is just much slower than Jace Wright, potentially, in some of these turns. And he gets right on that back bumper, but then again, can't find his way around. And I say that, Darren Wicks too deep. Here's the Lamborghini alongside Jace Wright. Going to go into here into the sunset, but he'll be stuck on the outside, not where you want to be. Never mind, he's got the full overtake. Wicks in the Future Competition Esports moves into 4th. That is an excellent move and a great capitalization. He goes a bit wide. Should be all right, though.
Yeah, Darren really kind of just made a mistake through the barbecue sector and got pounced on immediately. Jace Wright not wasting any time. The charging bull gets through without too much ease or without too much issue. And now we also see a battle from Ruggiero Santos and Vadik Odstitsiev. It looks like Vadik getting by with ease there. I think Ruggieros knows he's on a different strategy. He's sending it, though, down to the inside of the first corner, but he backs out. I think he knows his place here in this fight. It's all about knowing who you're battling at the end of the day and not wasting time fighting somebody that you don't have any need to or that you're not going to be benefiting from. As Ruggieros here, he still needs to come into pit lane.
Yeah, the only way you really would need to is if you're running much faster, and Vadik has run faster throughout tonight as Professor Kronos, another guy. That strategy, I'm curious to see how it ends. He's 27th right now, moving through that field right now. The 42 car is doing an excellent job. That undercut will work out, but we'll have to see where those tires are at the end of this race.
And speaking of tires, I'm noticing a few drivers didn't take tires on their pit stop. Quite a few did, quite a few didn't. Ricardo was one of the drivers that did elect to. Emirates didn't, though down the inside there, Professor Kronos goes on to the Ferrari here. He gets a back marker in the way of the other Ferrari, and that's actually going to help Kronos out wonders and make that overtake stick like glue, and he makes it through with ease.
Yeah, that's Brunner. He just came out of pit lane. That is not this was a back marker. This was for position. Yeah, Brunner just wrong place, wrong time, it seems. Maybe didn't have as much speed through that section there, but he'll latch on to the back of Professor Chronotis, and those two will look like maybe they're going to run in hand here. They could work together as they have a massive gap ahead. As you can see, Professor Chronotis is a 5-second gap to Yatanashi, the back marker, and then 16 to the next driver, Ali Raza.
Yeah, Ali has 5 seconds to Kenneth Portis as well. He's fallen off there a little bit. Still needs to come into pit lane, though. Ricardo Rivera is the driver that we're really looking at, and he is setting fastest lap after fastest lap consistently. 141.755 is the time to beat. Here's a battle, though, as we see Will Brunner under threat from the Ferrari behind of Anthony Kelly. Anthony goes to the outside of Leocope. He doesn't find it. Next opportunity will pretty much be the final corner or the second corner as they go on down the hill now into Mineshaft. Also, a lot of drivers finishing up their pit strategy here. I'm curious to see when Kenneth comes in. And a little bit of a mistake there. I think it was a back... No, what was that?
I'm not sure. I don't fully understand what happened there, but a guy that I do want to point out what is happening with him, Eric Gakassian, up in a 14th. I believe he started toward in the 30s. Obviously, pit strategy helping him there, but... Oh, he needs to pit? Whoopsies. Yeah. I thought he... I'm looking at somebody else. Apologies. Will Brunner, though. Big pressure then the Ferrari. They've both lost Chronotis ahead, who's going to keep trekking on forward. So see guys coming out of the pit lane now. That Mustang behind just left. Borman, 2 seconds behind these two as they battle it out through turn 1. No such thing, though, in terms of an argument.
Also, Quinn Smith and Bruno Pio in this lap. Most of our front runners deciding to come on into pit lane and get that fresh set of boots. We are over the halfway point at this stage, so I'd imagine that Kenneth and Ali, they might actually be going for an alternate strategy, and uh-oh, what has happened to Casey Schutte and the Aston Martin here through the final corner? Or no, excuse me, we are in the first sector as we're going on through, deep through the second corner, and then heading... No, are we in the S's? Where the heck are we? Oh, we're at the top.
Yeah,
we're in Barbecue, I think. Yes, okay, through Barbecue.
Oh.
Through Clubhouse. That was Clubhouse. That was Clubhouse Bend. That was hard to tell at night, and Casey's still stranded there, unfortunate, but an unforced error is going to be costing him dearly.
Oh. He definitely reversed there. I was like, how do you get to the other side of the track? He just reversed to avoid, obviously not wanting to deal too much with that there, but Wilson Fernandez not putting pressure on the back bumper here of Darren Wicks. Both of them are out of the pits, and Wilson Fernandez, who I believe was way farther behind, now getting up there with Wicks, who is... taking an alternate strategy, or on the same strategy rather, as they go past an alternate strategy of Emirates, who pit way earlier.
This is going to be Wilson Fernandez, Eric Gakassian, and Darren Wicks in a three-way fight right now. Eric being the outlier and that he needs to pit still. In fact, he is getting out of the way with ease. You can see he doesn't want to get involved in the fight for actual position. It's know your battles again. And Eric, he's got a long battle ahead of him as just in his own fight, allowing these two to carry on. The Gladiators push on here, and Darren Wicks tries to hold on for dear life right now and keep his head above water.
Yeah, it looks like Jace Wright came in, Kenneth Portis and Ali Raza, as well as Alfonso, all staying out. All these guys trying to find maybe the best strategy they can, but I'm not sure how well the overcut's going to work tonight with so many fastest laps from Rivera, who's already made his way back to 6 as they dust past Friedrich.
Yeah, Eric really being generous here. I'd imagine he's coming in this lap, but he's lost a lot of time to any battles that he's had. Up at the front, still no pit stops from either Kenneth Portis, Ali Raza, Andre Alex Afonso, Matt Arteem, Stefan Lindauer, and Casey Schutte. All of those drivers are still to come in, though I think Casey certainly will this lap to repair that damage that he picked up. And beyond that, everybody else has made their final stop. I guess Ruggiero Santos and Eric are the only other outliers in that equation. But up at the top, it is mostly going to be settled here in the next couple minutes. This is Darren Wicks trying to make an attack onto the Scuderia Ferrari of Ruggiero. Again, this technically isn't for position. He wants to get by very quickly. Ruggiero being a fighter, though, and not letting any inch of the of the Nissan by. The BMW there in the rearview mirror, really keeping Darren Wicks honest.
Santos there on a different strategy, but he's going to have two very large cars dealing with him now. They make contact. Wicks into the side of the BMW. BMW gets away quite all right. Wicks backwards the wrong way into the kitty litter right by the South American flag you see right there through sunset. And that might be the end of his chance for a podium right here.
Yeah, I think that certainly is.
that was already, yeah. I forgot that most of these guys are pit. Yeah, no, I mean, he's faltered the field, and that's not where you want to go throughout that section now as Fernandez moving to 14th. But looking on, the guy he's in the voice call with, Quinn Smith, trying to find his way around here. He's on the inside, alongside of the Mercedes. He gets right around Eric Akasi, who lets him by pretty liberally.
Gage Gonzalez has had an incident. I think through Cheetah. Let's go back and take a quick look. It looked like a brief yellow flag, not too much damage being picked up, I would imagine, here. As we come on through, I'd imagine clobbering that inside curve. No, having to avoid somebody. Actually, no, stoving straight into the back bumper of... Is that... Yes, that is going to be Daniel Designaris, who we saw somebody cheering on in chat earlier. Unfortunately, Designaris getting collected there with a mistake of his own, and really with nowhere to go, or rather, kind of just drove into there. Gage Gonzalez, a little bit there of a slow reaction, unfortunately cost him big damage on the front end, and that'll be really affecting the lap time of that McLaren.
Yeah, he tried to go left, realized it wasn't going to work out, tried to go right way too late, and just drove right into the back of the Ferrari. Too indecisive there. Stefan Lindauer, one of the last few to pit, as I believe, yeah, it looks like Rivera has gotten ahead of Portis. Portis has just come out of the pits. 4th second there is Ali Raza, one of these sectioneers. Stefan Lindauer, the last of the non-pitters so far.
Yeah, Kenneth Portis with a rather poor strategy call at this stage, I think he would agree with, unfortunately, as he has put himself 4.5 seconds behind Ricardo Rivera, who was basically right on his bumper when they entered pit lane. Ricardo went for that undercut strategy, came out in clear air, and just absolutely went full send lap after lap, pretty much setting the timing charts alight every single time around the track, and now has rewarded him with the presumable, or well, preliminary, what's the word? I guess, preliminary race win? I don't know. He's going to be in the preliminary lead, I guess. However you want to call it.
We'll have to see. Rivera was putting down slower lap times than Portis when they were both on fresh tires at the start of the race, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was because he was in the back bumper of a Mustang. We'll have to see, though, as these last three remain the hat trick of drivers that have not pitted yet. I have to pit soon. Honestly, I'm not quite sure why you would stay out this long, and I don't think it's going to work out too well here, but Lindauer still battling our team for position in this section.
Yeah, and in terms of lap times for Stefan Lindauer, his times are only about 0.4 off of his fastest lap, so tire wear not too much of an issue for the Ferrari. In terms of Matt, our team, he's lapping about 0.5 off, so the tire wear may be starting to take effect here. But overall, the wear seems to be fairly minimal for some of these drivers in terms of their long-term strategy, but losing 0.5 a lap, well, it's going to turn into a second every 2 laps, and when you put it that way, it certainly is going to be a bit more detrimental than you would think. But everybody, of course, has to go through that phase. Stefan Lindauer, he's being an absolute menace right now, trying to get into the head of Matt, our team, but it seems that all that flashing has done nothing but into his own head.
Yeah, sometimes I understand that. Sometimes you're so focused on trying to distract the other driver, trying to get around, and that's what happened to Lindauer there. He just maybe wasn't paying too much attention, goes deep to that section there, and that is not what you want to see for him, and I wouldn't be surprised here. He's dealing with the back bumper of our team so far. I'm just surprised if he pits here, as I think part of his pace loss is due to being stuck behind our team.
Yeah, and that was Designaris again in the background, unfortunately, that was spun there. Stefan here getting a good exit, and there's again the flash of the headlights from the 296. Pushing the back bumper now of Matt, our team. It's going to be the twin turbo V6 versus the 5.2 V10, and Matt, our team, says, hey, you're flashing your headlights. I don't really care. I'm going to flash mine too. It doesn't bother me. Stefan, though, using those mind games, at least trying to his advantage, though Matt, our team, he is not going to crack like an egg, I can assure you that.
Yeah, race leader now approaching these two as well. Ricardo Rivera 2.5 seconds off. Looking to reclaim his spot on the charts as Ali Raza still setting times that are not even as fast as Portis. Portis really missing out now. He's lost a full second since he's come out of the pits to Ricardo Rivera, who he's consistently the best is what I have to say. Nobody's lapping as fast as him, first off, and nobody's lapping as consistently fast as him. And that is a race recipe win here as Lindauer battles. You see him in the background.
Yeah, consistency is key, and Ricardo has been pretty much that the entire time, hasn't put a wheel wrong just yet. Behind that, there is an absolute war going on. In fact, it's going to be a real knife fight in a phone booth as Quinn Smith goes flying off the track, rejoins next to Wilson Fernandez as they continue on here down the middle back stretch down towards Sunset. It's going to be 3 wide now, and it's going to be certain contact as they go on through. The number 4 of Emirates is spun around, needs to hold the brakes, got to be careful there. All the other cars, though, do make it through relatively unscathed, Quinn Smith and Wilson Fernandez, but I definitely saw that one coming.
Yeah, 3 wide into Sunset, or yeah, Sunset is not a great section there. That is not what you want to see. We'll take a look right back on it. 2 large cars around the other side of the Ferrari, and not enough room for all 3 of them there.
Oh man, that is such an unfortunate situation to be in for Emirates. There really wasn't much that he could do, and got a little bit of a wiggle there when you get that side draft, unfortunately, and he just had the slightest little bit of understeer that caused him to go into the side of the car next to him. I don't know if there'll be a penalty necessarily established for that, but it certainly was an unfortunate one.
Yeah, not what you want to see here if you're Quinn Smith, but definitely didn't get the worst of it. Jace Wright here under pressure, under pressure here. He's putting pressure on Brandon and Pio, Pigeon Racing driver. Now this is a regular Ferrari, but blue versus red here into this first turn Fusion Competition Esports car. Alongside, you have that quarter panel there. See how late he goes on the brakes. They brake right about the same time. This is not a great recipe for Jace Wright, but Pio doesn't take the right line. He goes a little bit wide, and Jace Wright slides right in there. Very
nicely done there. Textbook overtake, but the job is not done yet. Yes, it is. Bruno Pio thought about it into barbecue, but didn't quite, or wasn't able really to cook anything up. Wilson Fernandez still putting the pressure onto Quinn Smith in the back here as Bruno Pio ahead fights with Jace Wright. There's battles all along the field. Ricardo Rivera and Matt, our team. This is going to be slowing Ricardo down. He needs to dispatch Matt relatively quick, and you can see the eagerness in which he wants to through a sector in which it's not certainly ideal to do so. He is going to be making it stick through Cheetah. Incredible move, or excuse me, through Crocodiles, my apologies, and into Cheetah now. And Ricardo Rivera up into P3 off of Merritt there, just getting the pace over Matt, our team, who still needs to pit. Now, Andre Alex Afonso is going to be the next driver ahead, 5.5 seconds up the road. That's a back marker of Moriko Yatanashi. And whoo, they lift at the throttle at a time that Ricardo wasn't expecting.
Yeah, and the great wall of our team, that is 2 full seconds. That brought Portis closer. That is kind of nuts through that section there. He did a very, very good job for Kenneth Portis, who's now just 3 seconds behind. But yeah, just Jace right here alongside with Pio through Cheetah. Doesn't work well for him, obviously, but he still manages to stay alongside despite going fully into the kitty litter and makes it stick. He'll go front section there, but the Brandon Pio should get a better exit there. No. Wow. Bruno Pio just... Huh.
Bruno there, he thought he had the overtake back onto Jace Wright, but Jace says, no, I am going to be firmly securing these single-digit positions, and there is nothing you can do about it. Bruno Pio is going to try to prove that theory wrong, though, as Stefan Lindauer comes into pit lane. Our race leader, Ali Raza, or current race leader, Ali Raza, still yet to pit, is going to be going for just a splash and dash at the very end. I honestly kind of like that strategy. Gage Gonzalez elected for no tires. Did have that bit of an incident, so kind of null and void, but everybody else pretty much, just looking at the timing charts, Devin Anthony being really the only driver that didn't take tires in this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious about that. How that's Vadik manages to see his teammate. That is not the rejoin you want to have. Let's take a look at it. The incident here. Thank you, helicopter camera.
This is certainly an unforced error, I would imagine, as Vadik going through clubhouse bend, the back end not complying in the front, getting a bit of too much rotation in there. You can see waving at his teammate as he drives by, and certainly not in the manner in which he would have wanted to do that.
Yeah, I'll come behind his other teammate, Drew Burakovsky, I believe, to that section there. Yeah, I mean, that is not what you want to see in this stage of the race with 21 minutes left. Not a lot of time to recoup your mistake there as we go through this. Alex Alfonso finally pits. They move down to the other section there. And Ali Raza, I'm pretty curious, how long does a pit stop without tires here take, Mike?
A pit stop without tires here at Kyalami, you are going to be looking at about a 26-second time loss and through pit lane in terms of, I would imagine that's stationary time, and 53 seconds with the tire change. And with our, okay, it's gonna be 53 seconds. Yeah, with our rules, it'll be 53 seconds through pit lane.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
so,
total.
That's
total.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough for Raza. 44 seconds now to the car behind. He's lost that lead overall. Is Kenneth Portis now going to try and beat him back there? But Raza, I wouldn't be surprised, ends up on the podium. He'll likely come out in third if he pits a splash and dash. If he go to Stayev, catches Drew Burakovsky on that outside line, went wide after turn 2 as they go head down to barbecue. As he remains all right.
Yeah, not too much of an issue. Unfortunate there for Drew, but just kind of drops it and hands the position over. This, though, Matt, our team, now going to be another thorn in the side for the likes of Kenneth Portis. He isn't going to hand that position over easily, I would imagine, as he didn't do with Ricardo Rivera. This is a battle for position. This isn't the blue flag, so he's not obliged to get out of the way by any stretch of the imagination. It is overall a real battle on track. Though, again, there is still one mandatory pit stop. You can see that reflected with the 1 on the left-hand side next to that number 414 Audi, and the green next to the other drivers' names. They are all green to go to the end, and Matt, he is going to have to still make a trip down pit lane. Casey Schutte, he's electing for his right now.
Kenneth Portis homing in on that back bumper there. You see another back marker off to the side. That's Kelly not wanting to deal too much with it. They lose a position, unfortunately, to Lindauer, though, in the process. So that's letting too many people behind. That's not being a good back marker for yourself and personal. That's rough for them. Kenneth Portis, though, is going to have a run here at Sunset, but is obviously not going to try and go too deep into it. He's got that inside line thinking about it, but does not want to end up like that Ferrari did earlier.
Uh-oh. And Vidic's race has gone from bad to worse and has parked himself in a very inopportune spot. Everybody, though, is going to be aware that there is a chicane in the middle of the straight there and needs to be very cautious. A Lamborghini-shaped chicane is certainly never ideal, and I think that's Vidic there. Sort of what I was alluding to earlier is Vidic, you know, he's improved so much in his consistency and his sort of dialing the emotions back, but I think when he makes that mistake, he sort of gets a bit frustrated at himself. I'm very guilty of this myself, and your driving just gets worse and worse. You really got to snap out of that when you get into that situation and say, it's all right, I can only do what I can do from here on. I can only move forward and drive the race that I can and not worry about the mistakes that I made in the past. Just got to really carry on. And I think that's something that Vidic might need to work on a little bit more throughout his driving career, but Vidic has such a long ways to go in that career, and he will be going a long way as well. A driver that's very receptive to criticism, as well as just somebody who puts a lot of effort in to get good results, and it shows. Unfortunately, not tonight.
Yeah, it happens. Unfortunately, you just got to put your head down, keep digging, because that hole, unfortunately, you put yourself in is unfortunately not going to get any deeper. Quinn Smith real close to that right side of Bruno Pio. But they managed to stay away from each other. He's going to go for the switchback, though, right before Cheetah. He'll be alongside now through this section here. That V8 Coyote aspirated engine is trying to find through. He does get through Cheetah. Pio wanting nothing to do with the Mustang side by side there.
Chef's kiss of an overtake. My goodness, Quinn Smith, full confidence on that one. Excellent job. And Bruno Pio really left with no response. I don't even know how you fight that one back. He did absolutely everything he could in his power. Quinn was just the quicker car in that situation.
Yeah, Pio, this is, I believe, one of his better finishes, if I'm not wrong. He's had a pretty rough luck section here as he's come to Trackalicious. He's just kind of gotten the short end of the stick, to be fair. A lot of accidents that weren't really his fault, collecting in turn 1. Things like that, but he's done a pretty good job for himself here. 9th overall would be a great boost in the championship, I believe, for him. I think he finished in the teens earlier, but Quinn Smith won that first race. Not where he wants to be in 8th right now.
Nope, certainly not. And Ollie Raza, I think, actually will come out in the lead of this race. I think strategy has worked out in his favor. He's 41 seconds. It's going to be a splash and dash through the pit lane, so he's going to need to spend 24 plus about 14. It's going to be really close. I think they're going to come out relatively close to each other, but I think Ollie Raza may have done this just by not changing tires. That might be the difference, but it's only 5 seconds. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's not fixed 25. It is not a fixed 25 second.
That's what
pit.
I was going to say.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
I thought it was last week, but it clearly isn't. I think that's just for the open then. So it's going to be anyone's game. I think Ollie then, he just needs to go into pit lane really and has to take a liter of fuel, I think. So as long as he has the fuel to make it to the end, he is going to be in a very good position to win this race.
Yeah, that completely changes what I thought. But the one thing you do have to understand, if you're watching this from this section is Ali Raza has an entire straight where he's going to be going slower. And that's going to be the rough section there. It's not just the pit where you lose time. It's the exit and that long straight where you don't get up to speed until right about the end is Kassian. Vidigo Stayev just gets right by him.
Yeah, I don't think Eric's fighting this too much in the Beach GT. He still needs to pit. The tires are clearly gone, as his fastest lap is a 44.3, and he is lapping in the 47s now. I think he needed to pit and get rid of those tires about yesterday. But unfortunately, he stays out again. Fair enough.
Guess he's following Ollie's call, waiting for him to pit, but that may not be terrible for him. He's ahead of his teammate, who's had a rough section there. He is no longer in the race. Yes, he is. He's in 30th. Justin Beachley there in the Beach GT. Machine is Anton Wass towards the back bumper there of Casey Shude. That gap has been closing down very, very quickly as they follow Ali Raz, the race leader, who just got around them. And honestly, I'm very, very curious to see. Anton Wass has been a much faster driver, it seems. I think finished P8 or something around there, P4 actually, in the first round, and he's been very, very quick. Curious to see how his season goes through as he jumps back there as Quinn Smith still getting chased by Jace Wright.
I think he just got by Jace Wright.
Yeah.
Or Jace made a move and didn't get it. Yes, and now he's going for it on to Andre Alex Afonso as well, moving up from 8th to 7th, now from 7th to 6th within the matter of a couple corners. He's going to have the inside for Cheetah, though. This can certainly be dicey. He takes it relatively conservative. Woo! So does Andre Alex Afonso, but that allows Jace Wright to slip up the inside and get by with ease.
Yeah, had a very tough time getting around Afonso earlier in the race. No such thing. He's behind him for about a few tenths there as Alfonso gets sent on through Cheetah. That is a very brave move from Jace Wright, but not quite over, it seems. That GTR is amazingly quick in a straight line. He might not have enough space to make a move here if he makes a mistake.
It was a very poor exit from Jace. He definitely used one of his speed tokens there, went very, very deep. His best Sum 41 impression that he could possibly muster this time around, and it was a very successful one. Also, just want to say welcome to everyone. So we got Zalexi in chat, got Flawed Gaming, Am I Failure. Welcome, everybody. I know we've been a little negating on the chat, or haven't been interacting with chat too much. Also, Patrick Dubois, it's all good, brother. It happens. Everyone's got to have a bad race at some point, or a technical difficulty. It's not your fault, so it's all good, man. But yeah, welcome everyone. We've had a good race. It's just been nothing but pure racing that we've had on the cards here, and we've been, well, talking about the action the whole time. So apologies there, chat, but I hope you guys have been enjoying the action that we've been having, because it has been quite entertaining thus far.
Speaking of entertaining, Quinn Smith, by the way, set the fastest lap by a full 7/10 2 laps ago. I don't even know what happened. Ooh, Kelly! Frederick right there did not go through well through Cheetah. He's going to have to pit, maybe damage there for that car. But Kelly manages to stay alive. Yeah, Quinn Smith is going very quick. He's going to be on, I think, Gage Gonzalez, maybe a P5 if he can find the pace here through the rest of the section.
Yeah, 2 seconds a lap quicker than Gage Gonzalez, who obviously picked up some of that damage earlier on. Has to get by the back markers with ease, though, and that is going to be some windshield wipers on for Morko Yatanashi. Interesting choice. It's something I can't miss, unfortunately, as it's one of my biggest pet peeves is windshield wipers in the dry. This has been a full dry race with a wet qualifying. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the showers here in the actual Sunday session at the end of the day, but it was still, again, some incredible racing, and I don't think we would have been able to get that racing if the rain did fall. So maybe we are glad that the rains didn't get blessed down in Africa here tonight.
Yeah, it would have been interesting, but we were interesting enough, and I don't think a lot of drivers would be happy with their excellent, beautifully cooked up strategy going like that. And Quinn Smith did a great job. There was a broken car flag in that section there. Not quite sure whose that's for, but somebody in this grid is driving on a car that they maybe should not be. Anton Wass into 13th there, right past Casey Shude, but in too deep. Some 41 impression, absolutely wonderful racing. Not what you want to see from him.
Yeah, a little bit there of a lack of the middle pedal, unfortunately. It's not going to be any harm or foul. He gets right back on track. And Jason Provolone still without his brights on, which is extremely distracting for a dark car. Rather, not distracting, I should say, is a bit of a phantom in the night here for the Intimidator Mustang. Yes, I was going to hesitate and not say it. We've gotten it successfully this time, chat. But yes, the Mustang, the newest addition to ACC. is under pressure from Vadik Kostitsiev at this current moment. Vadik has had a bit of a struggle when it comes to consistency throughout this race. He's looking to turn it around and try to recover what he can for points, and Jason Provolone is going to be his next victim.
Yeah, Kostitsiev was back in 18th after that second spin there, but he's been doing a great job, up 2 already, and he's got 15th quite in his sights. That red bump blinking behind is almost like a homing target for him right now. Provolone not going fast enough right now to keep ahead of Vadik, but we'll have to see through the section here. You do still have to get past the car. I think he'll be looking for the exit onto the straight, though, for this.
See, we got Cody in chat here. Ollie going to be in the pits soon. He has no choice. He has to come into the next 10 minutes as Vadik there. Taking the rally route, unfortunately. I think, again, just that frustration getting pent up a little bit there, and he's overdriving the car at this stage. Just got to dial it back a percent or two, and everything should be just fine. He has the pace. He just needs to really keep it under control. But, Cody, why are you not back here for the championship defense? You leaving your championship on the line, or are you going to come back this season at all and try to fight for it? There's still an opportunity with one drop round, obviously. You're going to be missing one of them. But I'd love to see you come back and try to fight for that title, or are you just going to hand it over to one of the heavy hitters up at the front in this season?
Not to cut you off on that. So Ali Raza, I have to say, his MVP tonight might be back markers. He's running 7/10 slower than Ricardo Rivera, but that gap has not increased. That's 42 seconds for quite a while. And Anton Wass gets close to the back bumper of Casey Shude there, not too much making through barbecue. But I don't even know. Ricardo Rivera is running so much faster, but can't seem to get the 42 seconds away.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think Ollie Raz has cooked up a really good strategy this time in just purely not taking tires. That's going to be, looks like the optimal one at the end of the day here, and it seems that most drivers did not follow suit on that one. Thank you very much to, hold that thought, Anton Wass gets by Casey Shude, or does he? Side by side down the mine shaft towards the crocodiles they go. They're going to get awfully close, a little bit of bumping and banging as they trade paint now. Onto the brakes goes the number 6 car. He's going to be deep into the corner, forcing the rut row off there, but the 6 shooter is going to lose the position. Casey Shude drops it to Anton Wass. And thank you to Alex Vissi for the follow as well. Thank you very much.
Oh no, that is a spinning car behind. I don't even know what just happened there.
Who was that?
I think that was Eric. No, it wasn't.
I'm not seeing a yellow flag pop up.
It was his teammate, Beachley, who went into the pits, I think, now, because he spun somewhere. Nope. He's having a good time right there. Yep, he's back out on track. Eric's teammate, having too great there. Vadik still stuck behind the Mustang. I had the Intimidator with the very low lights. Just keep it in mind. All these drivers do have to have their lights on. It is a thing that obviously should be like that, and the lights should stay on. Can't turn off the lights like I've seen in other series to try and make an overtake around here, but honestly, if you have your graphic settings where they should be, it shouldn't matter if they have their lights on or not, to be real with you.
Some people like that full simulation, though, the full nighttime effect, and here we go with Vadik going to be maybe getting an opportunity as the back marker of Morko Yatanashi. Going to be putting a compromising line on? No, not quite. Morko being very generous there as a back marker and allowing both drivers by with ease and not wanting to impede this fight at all at the end of the day. Now, Ali Raza is the second to only driver on track that hasn't pit. Eric Kakassian also has not made his stop, so Ollie is going to be having to come in within the next couple laps. Otherwise, he will be receiving a hefty penalty, though again, he is just coming in for 1 liter of fuel, presumably, and back out, so going to be trying to spend about maybe, we'll call it 35 seconds in pit lane, 40 seconds in pit lane at most, which might make the difference, although I don't think it's going to be 40. 40 seconds is the gap, though, to Ricardo Rivera.
Yeah, I would, if I'm him, I'd probably be waiting as long as I can. Ricardo Rivera is about to come up on a bunch of back markers again. He can't seem to get out of the sight of a lot of them. He's at about 40 seconds to Ali Raza ahead, and like we said, that is a beautifully cooked up strategy, but a lot of it was based on chance. As Vadik thinks about going alongside, just can't find the pace against the Mustang.
No, not quite. As they go on through the first few corners now and onto the back bumper through into the barbecue sector. Vidic trying to find any opportunity and force him wide there. You can see him just trying to get in on that rear view mirror. Checks to the outside now of Sunset, but I don't think he's going to be finding too much of an opportunity. Tries to carry the speed through, but the dirty line to the outside is going to allow for some speed to be carried, but not enough to make it along.
Ooh!
Ooh!
Too much speed there. Too much speed there. Goes in the back bumper to the Mustang, as that is not what you want to see from Provolone, but he'll be cheesing. He's still got that position. Obviously, probably not too happy, but probably happy he kept it. The P15 spot staying for Provolone, but now that... Oh my gosh! What just happened behind? Was that... What just... Okay, sorry. Somebody... I think... I don't know. Looks like Drew Burakovsky smashed into that wall going way too quick behind. Yeah, that was not what you want to see for him. Maybe that... I don't know even what's happening. Maybe that was a back marker. Somebody just... Absolutely, in the section that was rough.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. It's not been a great race, and it continues to not be as Matt, our team, barges his way through Drew, trying to cover the door off. But, well, Matt, our team, comes in like a SWAT team and kicks the door down and says, "No, sir, I don't really care about your deadbolt." And Casey shooting behind, trying to make up as well on the slipstream now of Anton Was. Has a back marker to contend with. Not much of an issue there. Rally does get off the throttle. Thinks about it to the inside. Takes to the racing line, though, which will give her a better exit on the launch here. We'll see if he can make anything of it, though. No, not quite. Ollie's
that
in
section now there.
and out. Let's see, where does Ollie Raza come out in relation to Ricardo? Ricardo's just making his way onto the start-finish straight. Ollie Raza has absolutely nailed the strategy on this one. Firmly in the lead of this race by over 10 seconds.
And you know who's not firmly in second right now? As Kenneth Portis has been closing that gap for the last few laps. You see that NSX menacingly behind. He's got clean air. Rivera does not. We'll have to see where those two positions end up throughout that section. And, wow, I mean, Portis has been putting down some great laps in that NSX. Much cleaner than he did earlier. Needed the pace earlier on, but just couldn't get it. As Gage Gonzalez gets sent on by, it looks like, Quinn Smith. He's made a mistake somewhere along the line, and Quinn Smith is in fourth. What a recovery drive from him.
Yeah, Quinn has been on the ball tonight. Now, obviously, again, Gage, I think, has a little bit of damage picked up, but it hasn't been impeding his pace all that much. Quinn, though, he's a man on a mission. Getting involved in an incident early didn't really impede him too much. It seems it's impeded his podium efforts, but the points recovery tonight was as good as he really could hope at the end of the day. And leading the championship coming into this race, I'm not sure that will be the same coming out, but it has been a great job of damage negation, though, for the 888.
Yeah, that car will be at least closer to where he wants to be. I don't think we'll be leading. I think it'll be Ollie Raza if he manages to win the race, or Rivera behind. Not quite sure who's going to take that points lead. You'll have to check on !SimGrid if you also want to sign up. That's a great place to do it, rather the place to do it. Go jump in there, and you can jump in the Discord right after and talk to all these wonderful drivers about the race ahead. But Devin Anthony here, a bit of a recovery drive for him as well. I know he picked up damage, went off in that first lap, and he's been up towards P19 now, but he's got a Mustang in his rearview mirror that he does not want to see. Yeah,
he also has Ruggiero Santos ahead of him, and it is going to be a real scrap currently. Ruggiero Santos 8/10 up the road. Paul Borman 8/10 behind, and a bit of a sandwich right now. Can he find anything of it? Into the first few corners, seems Ruggiero has a good amount of pace here for the 177. He's more on the defensive track, it seems, as they approach here what is going to be more than likely the penultimate lap.
Yeah, only 2 minutes left. 73 minutes, I can do basic math, has passed us already, and that's what we're seeing right behind. This is what's been plaguing him all day. Ricardo Rivera stuck behind the back markers here. He's just nothing he can do there. Those Mustangs are fighting for position, and he can't get by. He has to lift through that section as Corey Schude has dropped quite a bit, no?
No, he's, I mean, he was ahead because of the pit stops. He's dropped 6 positions, though, or excuse me, he's dropped 8 positions, no, 6 positions overall from 8th, unfortunately. But it has been, again, a bit of a slog here for Casey in this race so far, even with his pit strategy, which seemed to be optimal. I'm not sure where it all went wrong. Well, obviously, never mind. We saw him spin at the final corner. That's where it all went wrong. Now trying to go by the likes of Drew Burakovsky, who's also had an equally unlucky race in terms of the pirouettes that he's had. It's the wrong sport to be doing that. Maybe figure skating another day, but today, well, it's racing.
Yeah, I got Quinn Smith confused with Corey Schude there. Both green cars, not really green for Corey. I think half the car is invisible or camo. depending on where you are in that joke, but he'll be sending it down the inside line on Burakovsky. He's got the pace in the inside line through the hairpin. He's quite all right through his. He's just not going to have enough pace. Great exit for Burakovsky. He does everything he needs to keep Casey behind. The six-shooter racing will keep having to take firing shots at that back bumper.
Yeah, and Casey back on the charge. Again, he has been really consistent throughout his entire run. Obviously, he's changed his number to P6 this season, trying to represent the fact that he finishes in 6th all the time, though a bit of a mistake for Drew allows Casey an easy overtake through Sunset, though it's a bit of a dicey one for sure, and he does make it by, though. Now on to the defense, and can Casey hold on for the next lap as Ali Raza, he will be finishing this lap. I don't think it was announced, but the Mustang of the Razzle Dazzle Motorsports has done everything right in terms of strategy. He has pushed it throughout the entirety, and, well, he's made it work.
Yeah, done a great job there, and has just, I mean, got everything right, and a little bit of luck, a little bit of razzle dazzle for him there, as he's going to get his first P1 since returning. I believe, unless he makes a mistake, it would be very uncharacteristic. Please, please don't result in me having the commentator curse. I don't want this on Ali Raza, but he's been very clean so far. Typically a clean driver, and I think he knows when to lift.
Yeah, and Ollie, he knows when to not, and that's the most important thing, and that's what makes a racing driver at the end of the day, right? Is knowing when and knowing when not to lift. Ali Raza, he also has that strategy. Clearly, he thought that one out, practiced it, and made it to perfection. Didn't really put a tire wrong either. Had a brief little incident through the middle of the race with a bit of contact and didn't really impede him at all. And the horse has been let out of the stable, I think, at this point. Ali Raza, he's back on the throne and going to be taking his first race win of the season here tonight for the number 30, the Razzle Dazzle Motorsports. Ali Raza, a masterclass of a drive here. Behind him, Ricardo Rivera is going to be coming to the line 11 seconds behind, with Kenneth Portis 3.5 behind him, and then a bit of a gaggle of cars to the line of back markers and front markers, but Kenneth Portis should be fairly happy with that result for the Honda NSX. I think it's back-to-back P3s for him. Quinn Smith, again, nothing to shake a stick at, though it's P4, will not be leading the championship, I presume, at the end of this one. It will be, though, a good haul of points in terms of what could have been an absolute disaster.
Yeah, I think he actually will be tied with Ali Raza. I think it's a P1 and a P4 collectively for both of those drivers there, but we'll have to see towards the end of it. Again, check it out on SimGrid. You can find the standings right there. Gage Gonzalez is going to come across the line P5, a few seconds behind Smith, and that damage maybe not helping him out too much, but great drive from him nonetheless. I believe this is his first of the season with a Wilson Fernandez flash in the headlights. The Brazilian driver goes 6th overall. A great drive from him. I believe he started in the teens somewhere, as Andre Alex Alfonso will go 7th, with 8th being PO behind.
And then to the line after that, Jace Wright will be up next. Darren Wicks will round out your top 10 in the Nissan GTR. The Godzilla makes it into the top 10 there. A good haul of points as well for him. Vadik here, it's going to be a straight-up fight. Lamborghini on Lamborghini as the two bulls lock horns through the final few corners. Who's going to have it? It looks like Vadik is going to be putting a tire wrong, and Drew Burakovsky is going to hold on.
Yeah, the last thing they wanted to do, his teammates was crash into each other there, and that's the best option, as both of you guys at least finished the race where you were, as Drew Burakovsky coming across the line, unfortunately seeing red for Vadik there, but a great drive from him after those incidents there. Hopefully gets his head level, as he's a great driver, as we talked about earlier. But yeah, absolutely wonderful race at Kyalami. No rain, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, no rain in the race. I will say we'll be getting some driver interviews here shortly, so don't go anywhere, folks, as we round up some of our top 3 here and get a chat with them. We got Ali Raza to join the green room because I rudely moved him, and we will find our other drivers, Ricardo Rivera and Kenneth Portis, if they would like an interview themselves. But why don't we start it off? Why don't we just go and dive deep into it here, as I think Carson here has had a chance to catch up with Ali Raza, our race winner.
Hey, gold for the gold car, Ali Raza, back on the top of the podium. How does it feel, man?
Oh, it feels great. Finally back there, and my strategy choice actually worked this time. Usually whenever I do something, it never works. So I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, were you planning on that from the start of the race, or was that just sort of an on-the-fly thing, like, maybe let's do this?
Yeah, during practice, I saw like the Mustang seems to be pretty good on tire wear. So, and Kyalami's kind of even on both sides. So I thought, you know what, let's try full fuel splash and dash. And yeah, I think it definitely worked.
Yeah, by about a full 10 seconds. So I would say it would, as that was a very, very good run there. Yeah, I mean, towards the start of the lap, you saw that I think Quinn Smith almost come across your bumper.
Oh,
Did being in the VC with him help at all?
oh man, I saw it behind, like Rivera was spinning, and then I was like, wait, where's Quinn? He must be dive bombing or something. So I just completely stopped myself, and that worked. He just came right in front of me. But no, I think Quinn was just like no comment or something. So it was pretty quiet in the VC. I assume he wasn't happy about what happened.
Yeah, 5 millimeters you got out of that, but yeah. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, Ollie?
Oh yeah, thanks you guys for, putting on a show, and there's also one of my good friends watching, so if you're hearing me, thanks for watching. Maybe because of you I won. So all right.
Heck yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely awesome. Thank you, Ollie, and good luck in the next race.
All right.
Oh, I moved him. That's all right. Cut him off. I didn't think he was going to say anything. I gave him the time, but it doesn't seem we have anyone else. Unfortunately, I think that is going to be doing it for our interviews here tonight. And while Carson was interviewing, I didn't grab a raid because I am a great streamer. So we are going to be grabbing a raid here relatively soon and heading out. So thank you all so much for watching. Carson, what'd you make of this race?
It was an absolutely wonderful race to watch. Tons of different strategy playing, and I like the 75-minute because it's the perfect section where you can have varying strategies like we saw with Ali Raza. But if the rain ever comes, I think we'll be in for quite the treat, Mike, as we see a lot of different strategies playing out there. And it worked pretty well for Ali. It didn't work for some others. I don't know where Eric ended up, but I did not see him on my scoreboard, unfortunately, towards the end there. And yeah, I mean, it's tons of different skill levels here, and I'm very glad I got to see it at one of the best tracks in the game.
Indeed, one of the best tracks out there and one of the best races, honestly, out in terms of just calendar alone with the drivers that we have as well. And if you are interested in signing up for this championship, head on over to our SimGrid, check it out. You can be a part of this as well as the plenty of other championships that we have to offer here at TRACKILICIOUS. But in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. No, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll be back with the GT4 rookie race as well as the GT4 Open later on. If you guys are interested, do sign up for that or just add that to your calendar and be here tomorrow for the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to be rating Znarth, who is going to be doing some VR driving. But I hope everyone has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.